So Carlee Russell was finally arrested and then let out on bond. So she's getting ready to get her little misdemeanor slap on the wrist for all of this. But Dr. Umar doesn't agree with her being locked up at all for this. But let's get to the video of her being arrested, and then we move on to Umar.
This afternoon, Carlee Russell, with the assistance of her attorney, turned herself into the Hoover City Jail, where she was arrested for the following charges: false reporting to law enforcement authorities, Class A misdemeanor, $1,000 bond; falsely reporting an incident, a Class A misdemeanor with a $1,000 bond. Each of these charges carry up to a year in jail and potential fine of $6,000 upon conviction. Ms. Russell was released from jail after posting bond. Judging from the amount of phone calls and emails that we've received from people all over the country, I know many are shocked and appalled that Ms. Russell is only being charged with 2 misdemeanors, despite all the panic and disruption her actions caused. Let me assure you, I too share the same frustration, but existing laws only allow the charges that were filed to be filed. I can tell you that I will be contacting our state legislatures on behalf of law enforcement in Montgomery and asking them to look at this law applied to these facts and urge them to add an enhancement to current legislation when somebody falsely reports kidnapping or another violent crime. Because of the attention this case has garnered, we've requested Attorney General Steve Marshall's office adopt this case, and they've agreed to do so. The Hoover Police Department wants to thank everyone that assisted us from the beginning and continues to assist us in this case as we work its way through the criminal justice system.
And so, as you see, it could be up to a year or it could be nothing. They didn't state a minimum, so it could be a slap on the wrist, a month or two, if any jail time at all. And Nicholas Disease wants to write to the state to have these penalties upped for these type of severe cases. Dr. Umar doesn't want these type of cases to be prosecuted at all. He doesn't want Carlee to be in jail. So you're going to allow Carlee to cry wolf because you're pandering to black women while taking away resources from women when they go missing in real life. Because if you have people like Carlee crying wolf and getting a slap on the wrist, then you got to admit that people are going to drag their feet when other abductions happen, wondering if they are believed or not.
250,000 women were kidnapped, abducted, sex trafficked, and killed, sold away. And of that 250,000, 40% were black women. African women are only 13% of the American population, but they are more than 40% of those who are kidnapped, killed, abducted, organ trafficked, and sex trafficked. There's a war on black women, Sister Carlee Russell. You owe your sisters an apology. I do not want my sister going to jail. So for all y'all saying she need to be prosecuted and persecuted, I disagree with you. Don't no black woman belong in there.
The amount of pandering that Dr. Umar be doing is unbelievable. No black woman deserves to be in jail. All the women that get killed and maimed and all the type of crazy stuff. No black. Come on, Dr. Umar.
I don't want to see her in prison for that. She made a big mistake and she needs to account and atone to the black community. But I do not want her persecuted or prosecuted. I don't want her charged. I don't want her indicted, and I don't want her convicted. And I rebuke any of you who are trying to push that on that young sister. Because guess what? Our women are sexually trafficked inside the prison also. Black women are sexually trafficked inside the prison also. So why would any black woman or any black man would want Sister Carlee arrested and in prison? I don't support that narrative at all. I do not support bringing white people in to punish black people. We must do this ourselves. Sister Carlee, you owe us an apology, sister. And I hope your parents are honorable enough to make you give that apology to black women and the black community all over this country. You owe an apology to the queendom. That's all I want, is a public apology to the queendom. I want a public apology for the sisterhood, Sister Carlee. You owe black women that. Don't you dare play with our safety like that. Because what you did, Sister Carlee, and I'm not beating you up, I love you. When I see you in Alabama, I'm going to give you a big hug and just say, baby, don't do that no more.
all you want is a public apology to black folk. And then when you see her, you're going to give her a big hug. Listen, we got compassion for her too. But okay, let me ask you this, Dr. Umar. The money you've been saving for the FDMG school that you're trying to get on its feet. Let's say when Carlee made this false accusation, let's just say that all the search parties and helicopters that went in the air and boots on the ground and cars and dogs, let's say all of that money, all that paid for that came out of your fund, out of your FDMG fund. Would you just want to say, I need a public apology then? Would that be all you wanted? If she just depleted your whole fund because she was being silly and wanted attention? Because that's all this is. This is an attention plea. You understand what I'm saying? An elaborate scheme to get attention. So, I would wonder if that money that you had saved, that you were trying to get your school together for, if she had depleted that, would it be just a hug that you're willing to give then? Because you're saying like you don't want the white people to prosecute her. That's the only system we got. I don't know if you checked last time, Dr. Umar, but we don't run no justice system that we would be able to prosecute our own people. And I'm sorry, women have been given these false stories for a long time now. A guy named Brian Banks got locked up because a woman said that she was assaulted. He got locked up for years. The woman sued the school, got a couple $1 million, wrote a book, made money off of that, right? And then afterwards, it was fake. She admitted it. It was fake. Was she prosecuted? Nope. Right? You want to give her a hug too? Where does the line get drawn with all of these fantasy stories that women be wafting out there? And men too. Jussie Smollett lofted his story out there. I see it's one thing if you just lying on Instagram. It's another thing if you are lying and you got the police involved, you got the justice system involved, you got the judges and juries and cases that need to be tried and this, that, and that. That is hundreds of thousands of dollars that have to come out of the American people's pocket because of silliness. And while I don't think, I ain't trying to say throw the whole book at her, but I do think that these type of lies, when they're lofted out there, it's unacceptable. And there's too many men that are being crucified just because some woman said something. Michael Irvin still hasn't got back on the air and hasn't got his job back with ESPN because a woman talked to him for all of 45 seconds to a minute on camera, had witness around, was like witnesses, all witnesses was like, I didn't hear him say anything crazy, or, or she didn't react like he said anything crazy, or he still isn't working. And he's suing them, the Marriott, but it still hasn't cleared his name. And it's too many stories like this that are being wafted out there. Luckily, in this case, she didn't point the finger at someone and say, oh, he kidnapped me, or, you understand what I'm saying? Because if she had, I'm just going to say, I think most people would have believed her before they believed the guy that she was pointing the finger at, until we sifted through all the evidence and was able to call capo. So I can't do it with the pandering that Dr. Umar be doing, man. Like, you pouring it on too thick, bro. No black woman is supposed to go to jail for nothing? Come on, man. This your boy P. Campbell. Let me know what you think, what you don't think. Get at your boy.